The Last Banquet is a novel about one man's search for the perfect taste, beginning in the early 1700s and running through to the eve and the very early years of the French Revolution. I wanted a point of history where it would be possible to have the power and the money to search for every single ingredient and every single thing to eat, but without people necessarily knowing what it was that they were eating, what it was that was being eaten. So it has to be a point where you can have things sent from around the world, and you have the authority and the power and the money to have things sent from around the world, and enough power to allow you to eat everything. But not so late that someone has done it before. It's obviously not really about searching for the perfect taste. It's searching for perfection. It's searching for the impossible. Jean-Marie is an artist, and he's a scientist, and he's a cook, and they're all at war with each other. His desire to tabulate and put everything down into tables and make notes is at war with the fact that actually he's an artist. He wants the perfect meal, he wants the perfect menu, he wants the perfect taste, and those are two different parts of the human spirit that are at war with each other, and they're huge at this point because he is very much an Enlightenment man. The recipes himself come out of a book I had as a child. When I was a child, we had a very old encyclopedia that began with aardvark and ended with zebra and ran through everything else in between. And I would sit on the kitchen floor with this book reading, how do you cook an elephant? How do you cook buffalo? Which bit? Actually, the elephant, you can cook the foot in a pit in the ground, but the best bit is the bit at the top of the trunk, which should be saved. Hunger itself is a much, much bigger issue in this book. We open with the peasants on the land starving and the aristocrats eating banquets. And through the book, as happened during the 18th century, the famines in France become worse and worse and worse, and the hunger becomes stronger. And the peasantry change. They change from acquiescent to angry. And over the course of the book, you can see hunger driving a political force. So there's a hunger for food at a most basic level. There's a hunger among the new middle class, the doctors and the lawyers, for respectability and for a voice. And then there's a hunger in the aristocracy, but it's simply a hunger for consumption. So that's the only hunger they see. So Jean-Marie's hunger is reflected in the world around him that is hungry for change. This book is entirely about the hunger for change, and when the book ends, the change has come with the French Revolution. That point in French history, I think, is mimicking what's happening now. I actually think we're in the last days of late capitalism. We don't know what will replace it. We think this is the world, this is stable, this is what there will be. I suspect in the way that the French aristocracy in the 1760s and 1770s even looked around them and thought, this has always been, this will always be. I wanted Jean-Marie to accept that his time was over. He was waiting for someone to clear the table, which he talks about the banquet being over and the table about to be cleared. And that's what the last sentence says. It says that his world is over and the next world will begin. And I want people to take away the fact that our world will end and another world will begin.